What it do, Naysayer Nation? We are back once again for the Aftershow Podcast. Hope you all had a wonderful and productive holiday weekend full of good times, food comas, and I guess in the case of JayShockblast and people like him, Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, new season. It was fun. Got a dub in our first match. Shout out to Gio.
Congratulations on that. I was like, oh, that looks like something that I'm not going to download Fortnite again for. So I watched a little of Jay's and went about my day. I was busy finishing Stranger Things season 5, the first 4 episodes, unlike some people on this podcast that shall be nameless. But there's still plenty to talk about. A lot went down in this past week. We got probably the worst week for AI that we've had in recent memory, with 2 pretty high profile controversies. We of course had Stranger Things. It was Thanksgiving week. We had the Marvel Rivals anniversary with the new 18v18 mode, and people crying about free units for and other bullshit controversies that we'll get into.
I will never understand that one. I'm going to be honest with you.
That we'll get into as well. Because of course we're now less than 24 hours away from the launch of Cosmic Invasion, which I believe maybe some other person on this panel may already have in their possession. Who knows? But we'll talk about expectations for that. We're also less than 2 weeks away from the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley is already up to his old tricks, teasing people. He's got them thinking that we're about to get an Elder Scrolls 6 rollout. But we'll talk about our expectations, what we're looking forward to seeing there. Also, am working on a video about that very topic, specifically around superhero games. I'm expecting to show up. But first, what's up, chat? How's everyone doing? Cole, it was first this time around. Congratulations.
Travis is so bad at this.
Always. What's up, Gio? Of course, shout out to Gio, help carrying JayShockblast in Fortnite.
Bane of my existence.
What's up, LTM? What's up, Super Patrick? Steven, what up? What up? What's up, Ski? What's up? What's up, Vodka? Appreciate you all hanging out on this fine Sunday evening. Welcome, Gabe. What's up, Spooky? We appreciate all of you joining us. And I guess we can kick things off by talking about a lot of people's favorite topics on social media, which is AI. AI is everywhere. It's in everything. Literally, when I was putting the show together like an hour ago, as soon as I opened StreamYard, I was immediately hit with a screen.
I saw that
announcing new updates they added. And the first thing that it said was they added a new AI tool where you can do AI backgrounds now, which is funny because we already have an AI background of Thanos. I made a funny picture of Thanos for the intro and background to represent the Aftershow Podcast, but you can do custom AI backgrounds now. Paul Tassi made a comment. I saw a tweet he made where even in his email, like there's like a, I think Google Gemini is now being incorporated in Gmail, so you can like have it draft emails for you and stuff like that. So AI is everywhere. A lot of people have opinions on it. Usually people on social media, there's a lot of virtue signaling, people saying, oh, it's the worst thing ever and everything like that. And so there's always a pushback, specifically around generative AI, slop. It's called slop often. And but the bigger problem and the thing that's actually more concerning is like what AI's effect is going to be on society as a whole, and and how it's being used to replace real humans. And this week we got to see two high-profile examples of why that's a bad thing. The first big one was related to YouTube. If you're a YouTube creator, you already know that YouTube utilizes AI a lot. It's required because of the massive volume of content that gets uploaded to the platform every minute. So they obviously have to use some kind of automation tools to keep track of everything, to flag content and everything like that. But YouTube always maintains and still maintains that when it comes to their moderation, they incorporate humans into the process and have them reviewed to make sure things go through correctly, which if you're a YouTube creator, you also know is complete bullshit. But this week, the rest of the world got to see that it was complete bullshit, because there was an issue where their AI moderation tool went haywire and started mass deleting YouTube channels for in many cases, no real reason, no real reason, and because they don't have human reviews like they claim they do. When you request a human review, you're actually redirected to the same AI that flagged it in the first place. A lot of people were not able to get any help, and it just and a bunch of people posted about it, and it just kind of all went viral and just blew up in YouTube's face as a bunch of people were realizing that YouTube has just been getting rid of all these channels for no reason, and now because it became a huge media controversy, they were forced to address it. Fortunately, they restored a bunch of channels, but there was some pretty egregious examples. One subject that Dextero covered was a guy who got his channel removed because of a comment he made on a channel that he doesn't use. It's he made a channel. He had an account when he was 13, and it got hacked. So he notified YouTube and stopped using it, and then he, with a new email, created another channel, built it up to like 100,000 subscribers, and then YouTube deleted his new channel, because of that old account, which they fortunately, thanks to the controversy, reversed it. But it took him 2 months and everything going viral at the same time for you to finally acknowledge it and reverse the mistake. And we saw several other pretty egregious examples, like a bunch of creators got their channels deleted because YouTube auto AI feature falsely flagged their channels as ban evaders, because it incorrectly linked all these different channels to a Japanese Honkai Star Rail Let's Play channel that got deleted for some reason. And for some reason, the AI moderation thought that all these random channels were linked to that Japanese channel, and just deleted them. and it got so bad that YouTube's liaison, he usually does videos and guides on YouTube from geared towards creators, helping them better understand how the platform works. He was forced to basically put out a damage control video explaining the controversy, how they were investigating, trying to figure everything out, and how they've sorted it out. And unfortunately, in that video, you could tell it was damage control because he lied several times, which community notes have been on YouTube in particular about. They specifically about the claim that they used human reviews, which again we know are lies, and this was because and creators show this, that when you request a human review, they will often reject it immediately, which way faster. There's no human on earth that can review 100 videos in 3 seconds, in 2 minutes. Like this is not possible. So obviously they're using AI for all the stuff, and unfortunately it blew up in their face. I think if it happened to I think the time it finally happens to like a CNN or something is when YouTube will actually really get serious about doing something, but this is kind of close because they hate when they get bad press because it's, you know, it can be bad for ads, and this was a particularly bad one. And I guess it begs the question: what the fuck is is it going to take for YouTube to finally address which it's been a problem for a while, and that's how they treat creators, but also how they're been managing tools, because they've been more and more adding a lot more AI. You know, they now use AI to enhance videos without your consent. They have an AI dubbing feature. They're adding Gen AI to short, so you can just generate AI video now, regularly short. So what, as someone who's been on YouTube for 40 years, what do you think of its increasing reliance on artificial intelligence?
I mean, I'm not remotely surprised. YouTube has always had this attitude where we're so big that you know, we can just use that as our excuse for everything. We can't possibly manage all the things, and
Yeah.
I don't think they should have to some extent, but there is a certain point where we are partners. Okay, like YouTube honestly contributes nothing but a platform and tools to do this. We create the content, we put it up there. They just always have this attitude of, well, it doesn't matter if nobody's watching you, somebody is watching something, and that's good enough. um I feel like the lines keep pushing in, and they're just so close together at this point. I look at my channel as an example. November, quite possibly the worst month I've had on YouTube in over a decade, maybe even like since my first year. um I don't know what it is. It's probably my fault, but you know, they just want to put you in a box, and for some categories
Right.
that works, okay, but gaming, it doesn't, and they're just not smart enough to understand that and do anything about it, because at the end of the day, they're going to say, well, Mr. Beast does it, you know, and it's fine. They're just going to point at all the top 0.1% successful creators and say, well, they found a way. That's not normal. You can't actually look at that, you know. My channel is over 15 years old, and it has 15 years of content, and it's literally across the board. I mean, there are people that know me for Lego games, there are people that know me for Marvel Heroes. I mean, there are some people that even know me for Battlefield. You know, there's like, it's kind of crazy how, like, how broad video games is, and that's just not good enough. They want you to, like, you know, even like go down and down and down and down. Like, I can't possibly survive as just a Lego creator. And the answer shouldn't be, well, create another channel. You know what I mean? I know people do that, and so, like, it's hard. It's not easy, and I don't want to have to compartmentalize everything. You know, it's just, I just feel like their answer all along has always been, well, somebody's doing it right, so, you know, like, just throw my hands up. And also, we're too big to have to handle all this. So, but you know, when this is your product, you put this out, and just like nobody owes any of us any of us anything for, like, oh, we created a channel, big deal, you know what I mean? You run YouTube, big deal, you know, like, you have to be able to handle this at some scope, you know, like with real people. You can't hand wave AI for everything. There's some AI things that I think are useful, and some that I think are whatever, but this, you can't, it can't be the be all, you know. I can't imagine the volume of problems they have every day with people, and
Yeah.
and a lot of it is like it's the user's fault, but like, there are a lot of flags that are false flags.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get, I don't know. I think that we, the creators, deserve better, but I don't think they care. I just don't.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger issue, because obviously they could fix a lot of these issues by just doing, for one, what they claim they're doing, which is have actual human reviews. And specifically, they could also put safeguards in place so that the AI moderation tool can't delete channels at all. Like they should not have that. They should not have the ability. That should go through. That should, and they should also give creators of a certain subscriber count access to an actual trained human, not the fake customer service rep. Like,
I just found out I have access to a direct human. I've been getting emails from somebody for months, not realizing that it was a real person from YouTube until like some of it was going in my spam, and their email is at google.com, which obviously makes sense.
Yeah.
But like the amount of junk email I get every day from people pretending to be somebody else is so ridiculous that I didn't think anything of it until I got a YouTube survey, and I'm like reading through all this, and I'm like, wait, who is this? So I filled out the survey, and I was not thrilled. And then I responded. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had a YouTube representative. He responded pretty quickly. He's like, have you not been getting my emails? I'm like, they were going to spam. And I'm sure you can imagine how many fake emails I get every day.
Yeah.
Telling me they're somebody they're not. So, I mean, fortunately I have I'm partnered with another company called Studio 71, and they kind of manage my channel. So if I have a question, I could generally go to them, and they are, because they're so big, they have direct contacts. I haven't really run into situations where I need to do that very often. But not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And channels like, or partner channels like that are becoming like smaller and smaller. It, like 10 years ago, it was huge. Like you wanted to be with Machinima, whoever it was, and now it's maybe not as necessary, but I don't know any other way to do it. So
I've been opposite. I hope I have a rep at some point. Like I'm almost at 200K subscribers. So I would love a rep, but I watched YouTube during the Machinima era, but I started creating content after the Machinima era, and I've just always done everything completely independently. No editors, no one doing my thumbnails, just me doing everything by myself, and just doing as much research as possible, trying to figure out the best way to make content. And it makes me think of, I saw the Rad Brad actual goat. He actually made a thank you video. A lot of people were scared; they thought he was retiring, but he just made a simple game. He just threw up some gameplay of I think it was Resident Evil 2, and he just yapped and just thanked people and talked, and kind of reflected on all his times of YouTube and ups and downs. How he also mentioned, how he's to this day still nervous, about uploading, because sometimes he'll spend 3 days on a video and it doesn't do well, and then he'll put like a lot less effort in another video, and it'll go out absolutely crazy. You talk about interactions he had with fans, and it just made me think, wow, this guy's like a real relic of what YouTube kind of used to be, and it's nice that he's still able to find success, with his gaming format, even though he's a variety channel. He's stuck to pretty much exactly the same thing. He does his faceless let's play videos of the new big games that come out, and same style of thumbnail, same Brad. It's nice. It's nice sort of consistency. And it made me think of how YouTube's changed. Like, not like I think one of the things that hurts a lot of people, a lot of creators, and something that some haven't caught on to, is that subscribers don't actually mean anything anymore.
They really don't.
Like before, it was just an issue where YouTube just sometimes just didn't notify people who were subscribed, but they've actually legitimately shifted the algorithm away from subscribers. It's a paid subscriber base, and now it's more like they're putting videos in your feed rather than just giving everyone a notification of, hey, the person you subscribe to has some new content. And they actually are now, and a lot of people have been complaining about the feed, their recommended feeds lately, how bad it's been.
It's so bad right now.
Yeah, and as a response to that, YouTube, you won't believe this, are introducing a new AI tool that will allow you to use AI to customize your home feed. So the idea would be, you would pull up a tab, and you would pull up a bar, and you would type in a prompt for the type of shit you're looking for, and then it would update your feed to to reflect that content.
and it's so noticeable for me this month, because like, even as like a viewer, like I keep going to, I used to be able to go to my main page and it would offer me some stuff that I want to see. Now it's like showing me stuff, like right now it's showing me a video from 4 years ago. To this day, he still regrets saying this to Tom Brady. And I'm like, why is that the third video in my goddamn feed? I mean, I like the Patriots, I like Tom Brady, but I watched one YouTube short about Tom Brady doing an interview, and now I'm getting that. Like, come on, give me a break. Shockwave Sports, Shock Wrestling Universe. Why is this in my feed? Like, I keep getting the same exact. I watched this video from Autumn to Ashes, short story with tragic endings video. I watched that like 4 months ago, and it keeps popping up in my feed. Like, I watched it once. Like, why is this keep popping up? Like, I just don't get it.
I used to watch a lot of Binging with Babish. He's a popular cooking channel, and at one point I was like, I usually watch it on my TV, and I was wondering at one point, haven't seen much Babish. What's going on? Because I probably watched, like, I was subscribed. I probably watched like 100 of his videos at least, and just it was just like a stretch where I wasn't seeing any of his videos on my feed. And I was like, oh, I'm wondering what's that. So I went up to his channel and saw, like, oh, he's still posting a bunch of stuff. It just randomly, the algorithm just stopped showing me Binging with Babish videos, and I'm like, and I had to start manually watching them again to try to get them back into the feed, and it's really annoying. I'm not sure how. I'm sure when they implement this custom home feed, it's going to be ass in some way while they were the Kings, but it just feels weird because it seems like the obvious solution is just kind of just go closer back to old YouTube, where they just where they just showed subscribers the videos they subscribe to. and let it just kind of organically just be, oh yeah, the videos that people watch will be promoted, and if you subscribe, that's what you're going to see. But I guess they're just that's too simple for them, so they're going in this direction. But obviously YouTube has been shooting themselves in the foot in a lot of ways, and they're constantly evolving and changing. But and again, not all the AI is going to be bad. There's obviously some really great tools that YouTube has been rolling out, and a lot of great use cases. But in the case of Amazon, this was probably the worst use case, and an example that I think AI advocates will be using for quite some time. So obviously, Jay is not the biggest fan of anime, but this was considered a huge deal. There are several very popular anime. No Game, No Life. The other one was Banana, and they essentially fans have been waiting for dubs of these anime. So because they were currently only available in Japanese with English subtitles, and people were like, "Oh man, it would be great if that we finally got a dub." And they were surprised to learn that, oh yeah, this recently Amazon updated them with English dubs, and to their horror, they use AI dubbing. And here's an example of the Amazon AI dub. This is what they did for No Game, No Life. It has to be heard to be believed. Keep in mind, Amazon is $1 trillion company.
I think somebody somehow has played a terrible joke on you. Overboost. Littering, debris everywhere. I guess you don't care at all about the environment. However, no doubt, I can do something about that. You think so? Yeah.
So this is one of the most popular anime of all time. That's one of anime has exploded in popularity in the last 10 years, and the $1 trillion Amazon put this up as the official English dub of this anime.
I would say this, okay. I have seen this pop up in my feed a little bit. I kind of believe I understand wanting to have an English voice. I saw, like, the things that I saw this week were people complaining about like the Portuguese dub or something like that. Like languages you wouldn't necessarily think you're gonna get dubs for,
Right.
I can see using AI for like some of those type of languages where it's the only way you're gonna get a dub is if we use AI. English is not one of those. Like I think think it's safe to say English is the most spoken language in the world.
I don't think Portuguese counts as that either. There are a lot of foreign language, specifically Portuguese as well.
It's just the first random language that popped away. Polish. Okay, Polish. Let's go with Polish.
Still got plenty of those, but I don't think there's ever any use case for using AI dubbing. I think that you should, and this what was usually the case for, like, thankfully Netflix still does this, Crunchyroll does this, though they've been screwing up in terms of subtitles and some they have their dub issues as well lately. But previously it was like, okay, we'll have an anime and we'll have dubs, we'll have essentially we'll have the voicing of the most popular languages that we've found are going to be used. So obviously they will have the original, which is typically Japanese, then they'll have the English dub, which will be the most popular, and I'll also commonly see Hindi, Spanish, French, whatever. They'll just take a collection of the most popular languages, most requested. I'm sure they have data on that, and they'll be like, okay, we'll have dubs for these, and we'll have different subtitle options, and we'll call it. Sometimes an anime will just have an English dub and the original Japanese, and that's mostly common. I think if you're going to, I think you should either just have, if you can't have it, everything is fine. I think if you're going to have a dub, do an actual dub, or just have the subtitles. But this AI bullshit this is where I do draw a line. I think that it's particularly egregious that this was for English, like, because we know there's no shortage of talented English voice actors, and this was a very popular. That's what's mostly egregious. This was a very popular. These Banana Fish and No Game No Life are very popular anime. They have a lot of fans, and a lot of people wanted an English dub. And instead of just hiring English voice cast to do it, which again, like a drop in the bucket for a multi-trillion-dollar company to pay for this, they instead did the shittiest possible AI dub. Like, and this is so lazy and bad. Like, this isn't even like, I've actually heard good AI dubbing done from people on YouTube for skits, like just for fun. We'll use like AI voice software to do skits. Like, one of the things I like to watch is like this channel does skits with AI with AI presidents, where they clone the voice of like Trump, Biden, Obama, and George W. Bush, and they put them in like various scenarios where they're like a friend group and they're arguing and doing stuff. Like, they have one where they're all playing Marvel Rivals together. It's very funny, and it actually sounds just like them. It's very convincing. But their delivery is, kind of the most impressive part. It a lot of times it sounds like it's the actual president's delivering in these scenarios. This was so awful. Like, it's like they didn't even try.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on this. I've never heard of this anime. I mean, my biggest takeaway from this is that Peyton Pritchard is trending worldwide, and you don't follow Rick Pitino.
I have a bad feeling about this. All I need from you
There's an
is
ad
your head.
playing. Oh, is this okay? Was that playing? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? That sounds awful.
Yes.
No, and I don't disagree. I think I take my takeaways. This is one of the few instances where I think AI could be helpful. And again, it's just in usage cases where this language was never going to get a dub, had zero shot of ever getting a dub, because hiring all these extra voice actors is expensive and hard. But like, I think you're right. If they have their study and they realize, okay, we're going to get our money's worth out of doing this one, especially English, okay, then I think you should just do it the right way. But like, I mean, if we're talking about like, Polish or some Czech or whatever they speak there, like, that would never get a dub of something like this. Like, I could see it as like an option, like, kind of a red button option if it's, but yeah, I mean, ideally you want to have something way better than that, especially for like your second main language, essentially,
Yeah.
Like, there is a certain point where I could be like, all right, I know it sucks, but it's that or nothing, but this English should not be that case,
Yeah.
especially if it's as popular as you say it is.
Yeah, and the fact is so bad. Like, literally, like, back when dubs used to be, horrific. Like, yeah, like the old. I remember, like, Gabe's an old man, so he's thinking of the 50s Godzilla. But I grew up watching martial arts movies. My dad was a martial artist. He got me into like old Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee stuff, and yeah, the old martial arts movies used to have egregiously bad English dub as those, but it was kind of hokey and part of the experience. Right. But in the anime industry, dubs also used to be horrible. Particularly the kids were notorious for their horrible butchering of stuff like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, because they would not only have dubs, but they would like censor stuff and like for like absolutely goofy reasons. Like I remember an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh where these guards were supposed to be chasing a group with guns, and instead they 4Kids censored it out so that they pointed their fingers at them and said free. Said free. It was just like, stupid shit like that. But because anime has gotten so popular, now it's common now for dubs. The bar has now raised considerably, because now pretty much every new anime that has a English dub has legitimate English voice talent, and it's actually very, very well executed. It's now very rare to find a new anime that has a English dub that doesn't sound very good. So, and it's always good when it comes to like a very high profile anime. But in this case, is like I think this is like the nightmare scenario that a lot of artists have been warning about, where they would where they're just going to use Gen AI regardless of the quality, just to save some money, which, egregious coming from a multi-trillion-dollar company. But the AI advocates will obviously say this is the worst it's going to get, and honestly, this can't get worse. This is literally, it can't. This is actually horrific. But I think the problem is that eventually it will get better, and I think people shouldn't lose sight of the fact, shouldn't just focus on the fact that it's horrible, which obviously it is, but the fact that they thought this was viable in the first place. Like I don't think cutting actual voice actors out of voice acting entirely is sustainable or ethical, and I don't think that it's going to make art better. Like a Dispatch, one of my possibly my favorite game of the year. But they brought together a unique cast of a mix of newer guys, YouTubers like Jacksepticeye and Moist Critical, experienced some experienced VAs like Alana Pierce, big Hollywood actors, Aaron Paul and Jeffrey Wright. And it worked. It was really, and it was really well. They actually talked about how they went out of their way not to use AI, and just imagining Dispatch with.
I didn't know some of those creators were in it, and I have to say, that's kind of genius for a very dialogue driven game.
Yeah.
To incorporate people like that, because you get that natural, like, built-in advertising. Moist Critical, I don't watch that person's content, but I know that they're massive, and I know that, like, they're gonna be able to say, oh, I'm in this game, and that's gonna have a lot of reach.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually pretty genius. I didn't know that. I knew obviously about Aaron Paul and all the Critical Role people, and that obviously is that group, because I feel like the stories out there about how, like, Critical Role basically saved that game. Yeah. And that's a group of veteran voice actors who make jokes that they're the same group that's in everything. But like, to have them kind of run that, and you can see the fruits of those labors, because everybody really appreciates that game. I'm only one episode in, but like I appreciate what they did. You know what I mean? I just have been playing so many other things, and it's out, and everybody's already gone through it, so it's kind of like,
finish that, buddy.
I will, and it's just kind of on the back burner, and I think we'll get there. But
I say that, and I still have only killed one boss in Ghost of Butte.
Yeah, so that's where we prioritize differently. You know what I mean? Like, I went 100 hours into that, and you went straight into Dispatch, and that's the beautiful thing about video games, And
I probably have 50 hours in Yote.
Oh, well,
By the
You
way.
only do one. That's. I'll be honest with you. My brother was just over earlier today, and he's been talking. He took this week off because he had like use it or lose it vacation time, and he was talking. He's like, "Oh, I finally captured the spider, and you know, I'm going through my stuff." And I'm like, "Oh wow." He goes, "Yeah, I played for like 50 hours in chapter 1, and I just was like, wow, this never ends." But I was just doing everything. You know, I'm like, "Oh man, wait until you get to this part. I'm not going to say anything, but you should probably do it in this order." And he's like, "Oh man, you were so right." So yeah, I trust me, like that's my game of the year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just, yeah, I but like the point remains is that like it's very cool. What I really think I appreciate about Dispatch is that, you know, they really did focus on the dialogue, and they showed why having real talented voice actors matters, and why, like, you know, getting Megan Fox in Mortal Kombat or Ronda Rousey isn't always the play, you know, like, because they're not naturals at it. But I say that, but I want to go see Zootopia 2 because CM Punk is in it. So,
and a lot of people, to be fair, have seen Zootopia 2 as officially the best performing animated film of all time.
It's the CM Punk effect.
It must be. It officially opened to 560 million worldwide.
That's weekend. Crazy.
Insane.
I do want to say something else about your screen that was just up. I saw something about a group called Stray Kids, and I had no idea who that group was, but one of my friends was their tour manager on their last tour, and I had no idea how massive they were. And I didn't realize that they're like, I guess, the latest greatest Japanese boy band, or
I have no idea who they are.
Asian boy band. Yeah, because like she was posting pictures about, like, with them, all the places they were going, and apparently they're massive.
I gotta look them up because I do enjoy Japanese music quite a bit. You know, being an anime fan, I've obviously got a lot of Japanese OPs in my Spotify playlist. But the main Japanese artists that I follow are like Lisa and Asian Kung Fu Generation.
they may be from South Korea. I don't know where they're one of those Asian boy groups.
I mean, there's a lot of now I'm curious now because it's like Japanese, very different from like Korean music, you know.
Sure. I don't know where they're from. Okay, I just know the name because somebody I've known for like 25 years was just their like tour manager. And
let's see, they are a South Korean boy band.
Okay, there you go. So my bad.
So they're K-pop, I
guess, yeah.
Or right, yeah. Very, very different from Japanese music, but not surprising. Korean music, Korean media in general, but yeah, specifically music has been massive in the last 10 years in particular. Obviously, K-pop Demon Hunters took over Netflix and Fortnite briefly. That definitely still stings if you're a Sony executive after they completely fucked that one up. But
yeah, I'm like on her.
I do enjoy that. I do enjoy. I'm not as much of a fan of K-pop, but I did enjoy the K-pop Demon Hunters movie and soundtrack, and I like a couple of tunes here and there. I like Blackpink. There's a couple artists like that. They're pretty cool. It's fun. Definitely not a K-pop stan. Like, those people definitely take it too far. But I enjoy Eastern music in general. Appreciate you, Gio. But I think the takeaway is that while generative AI is going to continue to do some really cool stuff, I do think this is kind of a reminder of how important it is to still have humans involved in all processes, especially important ones like moderation, because I think too many companies have been in a rush to make AI work. Like, they recognize it's going to be, big and an important part of the future, but I think there's been like a huge overcorrection, and there's definitely going to be a big bubble bursting, and it's going to blow up in a lot of people's faces, because I do think there's extreme over reliance. I think.
Well, I can tell you what's over relying on AI. Windows 11, the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate Windows 11. Like, Windows 11 makes me want to throw my Xbox out the window. Like, it has nothing to do with Xbox, obviously, but like, it's so like, I can't tell you how many websites just don't work for me. Like Facebook doesn't even work. YouTube works like crap. Like, I have to watch most of my YouTube videos, at least on Chrome. I have to watch them in like 360p. Most of them I just want to listen. I don't really care about watching anyway, but like, because if I don't, like, it's just janky, and I don't like, Facebook doesn't even load half the time. Amazon lately hasn't been loading, and I don't understand it. Like, right now, I've been telling you about this the last few streams we've done in StreamYards. You're just constantly freezing in my StreamYards window. Like, right now, you're just
and
but I see in on my other screen the actual stream, and you're working fine.
Yeah, and I'm in my StreamYard. I'm on Chrome, but I'm obviously on my Mac OS, and everything looks perfectly fine. But unfortunately, we're seeing results. And Microsoft, an example of a company that went all in the AI, fired 9,000 people in order to make room for their AI infrastructure, and we've seen the results.
I'm at a point where I don't really like, if I see, I very rarely quote tweet people I don't know or follow that happen to pop up in my feed. But there was someone from Microsoft that I quote tweeted. It was a few weeks ago at this point, I think, but like, they were just getting buried, and I was like, yeah, you deserve this. Like, people are telling you, like, the replies, it was a bloodbath. Like, the replies were telling this person, no, we do not want Copilot in everything. I actually had to like turn off like OneDrive. Like, I actually use OneDrive, but like, they wanted OneDrive to basically be everything. I know that's the cloud versus AI, but like Microsoft is just so tone deaf right now, and people are just chasing trends and trying to incorporate. And like, I do see where like from an art perspective, like, there was a tweet going around about, it was showing like a boat that was like, it looked like it was an oil painting come to life.
Yeah.
And like, there's like, this is not art. I'm like, but you just typed a bunch of prompts and made this. And I'm like, but it is art in its own way. I understand what you're saying, but like, you could never, like, to make this with the human hands, all right, it would take years. Like, the animation in this is just literally going to take so much time to create, and I don't know that it could ever come out like this. So it is interesting to look at. I appreciate the results. I understand why people are upset about how we got there, but like, I'm not saying we should be using this to replace feature films, but like, as a YouTube short, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's where people who are advocating against AI are making a mistake and need to like kind of dial it back a bit, because a lot of them are extremely naive and just generally ignorant about the marketplace and how AI works and how people react to AI, because generally speaking, the consumer doesn't care where the content comes from. They just care about the result. And I think we should focus on the dangers of AI in terms of how it can harm people's livelihoods, how it can make things in generally worse, rather than just take something that objectively looks really good that someone generated AI and say, oh, this is evil, this is like, oh no, like people aren't going to give a fuck if it actually just looks good. Like they don't care. Like they ultimately just want a product. So and if they're able to produce it themselves thanks to AI tools, they're not going to be like, oh well, they don't give a fuck where it came from. Like, they just care.
It's weird because like I feel like a lot of these same people have no problem jumping on the pirate ship to watch a movie they don't want to pay for.
Oh, they absolutely do.
And I don't want to put a blanket over it, but like it's weird to draw the line there where
you get the point. There are a lot of lines where people draw, like specifically when it comes. Like I know for a fact that there are people who are advocating, who will call you, a World War II German cheerleader if you make a Studio Ghibli meme with with AI because of where it came from, but they have a cell phone made by a 10-year-old in China. like what are we talking about?
Yeah, like that whole trend, like the Studio Ghibli like pictures, I enjoyed that for a couple days, like that's something I never would have had somebody do for me. And I was able to create some fun pictures that I enjoyed sharing, and that was all I took it for. Like I think there is a difference when it comes to monetizing stuff like that. Like there are definitely some ethical questions about stuff like that. Especially when you start getting into like something that pops up is like Slipknot, Wait and Bleed, but in the styles of 1950s James Brown. Like I understand using AI for that stuff, but like I do think,
but you can't monetize it anyway on YouTube. So
that's I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, if there were ways like you were trying to make money off stuff like that, I could understand where there's some lines. I do think that anything that is AI should have to be flagged, and you should know this is not real, because the lines are getting blurred. I've had my mom share stuff, and I've texted her. I'm like, Mom, that's AI, right? That's not real.
Yeah. This actually became a big problem recently with Avengers Doomsday leaks. Like every day there were a bunch of set photos and stuff leaking from Avengers Doomsday that literally people were just generating these images in the new version of Nano Banana. And fortunately Google, one of the smart things they did do is that they knew how powerful that Nano Banana image generator was going to be with the new update, and they incorporated basically an invisible ID into it, so that every image you generate is going to have basically an invisible tag, so that you can just take an image and put it in Gemini and ask it if it's AI, and it can like read it. It can read that metadata and tell you that this was generated by AI. So at least they have some kind of safeguard in place.
Tim Sweeney's not always right. Thank you for the Fortnite check this month. But
I also got a nice $100 check from Mr. Sweeney, and I didn't even install Fortnite this month. But Sweeney did get pushback because he made a comment. He actually made a couple of comments. He jumped into a conversation about AI disclosure in game stores, and his first point, which I thought was valid, was that eventually, sooner rather than later, pretty much every new game is going to have AI in its production. So that label in game store is going to be completely useless. It's not going to do anything. And but where he really messed up is when he got pushback on that, and he flippantly said, oh well, maybe we should also have disclosures for the developers telling you what brand of shampoo they use, as if that was the same thing as disclosing the use of AI, because recently Call of Duty, for example, got into a hot water because they were using Gen AI to produce some pretty lazy assets in game, and I think that's a valid thing that customers have a right to know. And Sweeney flippantly being really being disingenuous about what the argument was, I think just kind of shows that he's obviously on board with using AI in the most unethical ways possible, and is trying to deflect from it, because obviously the solution would be, yeah, just upgrade the AI disclosures, like just make it more specific.
Everybody likes snark until it gets used against them.
Yeah, I mean because the problem wasn't that he was snarky. The problem was that he was being dishonest about.
I understand, but I also feel like if it was something they agreed on, it wouldn't be an egregious thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it would be egregious regardless. I think it was the fact that he just lied, straight up just was being.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually appreciate the game.
Yeah.
Not like Fortnite, but like the snark game. It's a pretty good comment.
Yeah, being snarky is fine, but lying and pretending like you don't know what people are talking about because you're trying to protect your corporate bottom line and not be honest with customers. That's a bigger problem, because the obvious point would just be like, we should maybe update the store should have better disclosures when it comes to the use of AI, specifically because it's going to be so widespread probably in a lot of games. The customers do have a right to know, for example, if the monetized artwork in Call of Duty or whatever was generated entirely by AI, or
completely fair,
or if a game decides, oh, we're not going to hire voice actors, we're just going to auto dub it with AI, like Amazon.
And again, I 100% believe that if you're using AI for that type of stuff, there has to be on-screen disclosure somewhere. You know what I mean? I do feel like people have a right to know, and I do feel like it is fair if people look at that and say, yeah, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
100%. I think Sweeney's just worried about potentially lost sales.
Yeah. I understand why people are against it. Like, I get it. I do think it's like a fad, and I do feel like I've heard the bubble is getting close to bursting. You know what I mean? And I just hope the over reliance on it like ends at some point, because Windows 11 is like, even Windows 8 was better than this, and Windows 8 was trash. Oof. Like I just hate Windows. Like, I just feel like everything works worse, and maybe I just need to like suck it up and just do a clean install from the get-go. But I would want to. I don't even know why I'm on 11. I would stayed with 10. I'm usually somebody, oh, the new thing is here, let's do it. Yeah. But for Windows, I was like, I'm gonna hold off on this for a bit.
Yeah. I'm still using 10 on my laptop.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen like the cool things that can be done with it, and I don't know. I don't know how you put that genie back in the bottle at this point. In some cases, though,
you can't. And that's the thing, that like AI to a degree is inevitable. Obviously, AI has always been a part of gaming. It was always bound to continue to evolve. But as the tools for AI begin to expand, it's fair to wonder how far is it going to go? Where lines should be drawn? What should be, maybe should the government step in and prevent certain stuff? Like there's a lot of questions about this stuff. But I think it's not going away. But I do hope that companies like dial it back considerably before it gets become too much a problem, because there is a very clear limit where you're not improving the experience. Obviously, Microsoft has shown, and Amazon and YouTube have shown that there's very, very clearly a level of diminishing returns where your use of AI is actually just making everything much worse than if you just had people handle it. So I'm hoping this gets dialed back before anything too crazy happens. But in terms of like general stuff for consumers, like, yeah, I think AI has overall been useful in a lot of cases, specifically for content creation. It's made my, and I think that's how it should be used, like to just make your life more convenient. Hey boy, hello, make your life more convenient.
Say hi to other people.
Rather than just over reliance. Like I enjoy saving time when I'm writing scripts on editing by just being able to throw my script into Gemini or something and just get a quick proofread. And I don't need it to change it. I literally tell it, don't change anything, just fix the grammar, spelling mistakes, and it's done in a couple of seconds, and then I just read it over and it just saves me time. It's nice. It's nice and nice convenient. I use Nano Banana to edit images. Like I can now do like complex edits and stuff, and instead of because I used to use Midjourney to generate some images or backgrounds and mess around with it, and now I can just create some cool stuff by just using Nano Banana to just edit existing assets, and it's really cool, and I don't have to master Photoshop or any other software to get the effect. So, and I think that's fair and fine for like thumbnail usage and whatever have you. But yeah, when it comes to like actual game development, yeah, there's definitely, I feel like, a place where you want humans being involved, but there is definitely a place where people take it too far. Like I saw an indie dev posting how they were using an AI tool to help them with their mocap process. It was just making it more efficient, and I saw a bunch of people arguing in the comments about the ethical nature of it and how what's good or what's acceptable. I'm like, bro, this is an indie dev talking about a tool that's making their job easier, and like it's none of your fucking business. Why are we debating this?
Yeah, I don't like people losing their jobs. I do feel like there are ways that it can be implemented to make things better, but at the same time, like you have to, like, human element has always been important, you know, and there's not something you can it's not something you can always duplicate. And I don't know. We talk about all these video games that are barely getting by, that like people will write off for like the lamest and dumbest reasons, and then they just tank. And so how do you combat that and try to make everything efficient? I don't know. Like, these are all complex questions that it's tough. I don't think there's like a great answer all the time. You know what I mean?
How dare you use AI to help your existing art skills? Yeah, I think that's a good use case right there. And I think the takeaway that studios should have when it comes to games, I think this is a great example of how this year in particular is a great example of how the problem with AAA wasn't like, oh, we just need to use AI to replace people. I think what this year showed is that it's not really about efficiency or fans overreacting. It's just the fact that you got to kind of get down to basics and have a relatively small team of talented people that are empowered to work on something that they're passionate about. And I think what's been lost in AAA development, in particular for some studios like Ubisoft, Ubisoft isn't using a lot of examples, because we've had several huge games, particularly this year, that were made by people that used to work at Ubisoft, and notably now, Ubisoft this year released, Assassin's Creed Shadows was their big release this year, which fine, okay game, decent game, solid 7 out of 10, but two other games released this year, Expedition 33, currently front runner of Game of the Year, and Dispatch, another hugely successful game.
2 million users,
2 million sales in a month. A lot of votes for a lot of people think it should be Game of the Year or at least nominated for it. Both of those games were made by people who used to work at Ubisoft, and they felt like they were empowered there and had to leave to find their way and do something interesting. And because as these companies like Ubisoft got too big, they stopped, because of the overhead of having such a massive company. They stopped taking risks. They stopped trying to push the envelope, do interesting things, empower creative people, and instead started trying to appeal to shareholders and the investors and a lot of that passion. But thankfully the indie scene has shown us that, and I think that's where the next wave is. We've seen this huge wave of smaller games that are just going crazy and taking off. Gamers are responding because it's kind of a back to the basics thing, where you have these smaller teams of passionate people that are just putting out games for the love of gaming rather than trying to make the graph go up or hit a 30% profit margin like Microsoft mandated everyone at Xbox hit.
It wasn't just Xbox, it was everybody in Microsoft, all of their products across the board.
33%, or I think, which is fucking outrageous.
Yeah, it's tough to defend. I'll listen. I've always felt like I'm a straight shooter. Black Friday deals, PlayStation on sale, $100 off, pretty much everywhere across the board.
And
gotta hand it to them.
And meanwhile, the current conspiracy theory is that these Xbox price hikes aren't exactly coincidental. The conspiracy theory is that they're trying to intentionally price consumers out of their hardware market in order to push them into their cloud gaming ecosystem, where they plan on serving ads while you're playing.
Yeah, I think this is one of those classic, like we talked about YouTube earlier. It's like people that are just detached from reality, like I can't understand what they're thinking. Nobody wants an ad in their video game. Let's look at Times Square Marvel Rivals. Okay, that is how you put ads in a video game. You put a Funko store, you put a Hot Topic. Okay, like you can maybe have an ad running on the billboards, right? Like that is fine. And I think games and companies need to find ways to do stuff like that.
But in the case, and Marvel Rivals did it well, particularly because the ads you see running on the billboards are a trailer for Avengers, the new Marvel show coming on Disney Plus. Stuff that people actually want to see,
Right. So like I feel like there is a place for stuff like that, and I think like Grand Theft Auto, like instead of having a fake gas station, why can't you get money from Shell or Exxon or something and just have them be your goddamn gas station? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't think that's a big deal, but I don't think anybody wants to stop playing their game to watch an ad just so they can play it anywhere.
And I think that's just coming from an out of touch executive who's like,
exactly.
Oh, well, people watch ads on YouTube and television. Why wouldn't they do that in video games? They're the same thing.
And I love Xbox. I really do. Like I very much want them to continue. I prefer playing on Xbox. Although I will say, now that I've been playing Marvel Rivals on Xbox, I actually, it's one of the very few games I've ever said, oh, I should probably just play this on PS5, because the difference between checking the score, pressing this button, and checking the score, pressing, yeah, I can't even see it. This little button is very different. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I can do it. I can't do it with. I'm used to doing it with my right thumb, and I can't do it on my Xbox controller the same way. And it's not natural because you move with this and you aim with this. So, like, for me to take my finger off my move stick is like tough. You know what I mean?
I feel like the PS5 controller is just perfect. I just love it. I just love the controller.
I will say it's the best PlayStation controller. This is one of the very rare cases where I'd rather be on that controller. This is natural to me, you know. I just love this controller, and I always will.
I enjoyed the 360 controller, but PS5 I felt just nailed it. I just always loved the PlayStation controllers, and I feel like PS5 just nailed it.
This controller is definitely the best PlayStation controller. You know, I don't disagree. Yeah, this is just typical, like, the internet, but like, I'll never forget when I was playing Avengers and I realized that the backlight changed color.
Yeah,
based on the character,
the hero you picked. Yeah,
and I tweeted a picture of my controller changing with that. And you just would not believe the amount of people that were like, you just noticed that? I'm like, dude, the game's been out for like 3 days. What the hell?
yeah. Unfortunately, especially on Twitter, people just love to feel superior.
Yeah.
Pretend
that is absolutely a thing. And I noticed it in my my Scott Summers versus Matt Murdock tweet, like, very innocent tweet that I just came up with in the first like 2 minutes that the trailer had been out, because I was in the middle of playing a game. We stopped playing the game to watch the trailer. I saw it real quick. I saw the red tie and I'm like, there was like this 1% chance. I'm like, I know I'm going to say it's Scott Summers, and people will be like, no, it's Matt Murdock. And I'm going to just say either or. And like, the amount of people, like, I could not believe that tweet had like 250,000 views by later in that night. Like, I just couldn't, because nobody's interacting with anything on Twitter anymore, but they love to let you know you're wrong. And it's one of the, I've known this, like, I learned it in Lego Jurassic World when I mispronounced the dinosaur name, a very uncommon dinosaur. I don't remember which one it was. And I said it like slightly wrong, and it was just nothing but little kids telling me I didn't say it right. And yeah, exactly, Gabe.
Nice rage bait.
But I thank you for the 3 million views. You know what I mean?
True, but the other actual, speaking of people crying about Rivals, there was a lot of that this week because of a couple issues. I think the dumbest one was just happened recently. The usual people who complain about Marvel Rivals being a Gooner game were going crazy because Sue Storm obviously has a new costume in the shop. They have a series of new costumes. She's got this dessert theme. Her and Venom have dessert theme. A lot of people talk about the Venom one. He's wearing a tutu.
Oh my god, the Vanussi.
Yeah, showing off the Vanussi, which to be fair, that one may be too far. Like the twerking Venom emote was funny, good meme. This one, all right, it might be too much, but but the Sue Storm one was pretty innocent, but someone found, but there's a nameplate version of it, and someone looked through the game files and found the full screen version of that new Sue Storm nameplate, and without the border, and it showed that her based on her pose, you could see up her dress in the game file version, but obviously in the actual version that you get in the game, you don't see any of that. But despite that, people were sharing the leaked the version taken from the game files as if that was as if that was what was in the game, and it re-sparked this whole not real dig, but people complaining about the usual people complaining that and it's always literally the same people. Like they'll I literally saw one who was complaining about the game sexualizing women too much, and I think they literally had Overwatch Defender in their bio. and I actually looked through their profile at just out of curiosity. I looked at their profile to see what type of stuff that they're sharing, and unsurprisingly, their entire profile was like built around gooning different Final Fantasy characters. So usually when there's an argument, where there's a debate about Marvel Rivals being too gooner, it's either someone who is just an Overwatch defender who is just hating on Rivals, or they're someone who goons to something else, like whether it's furries or guys, and are just being completely hypocritical because they hate the idea of straight men being catered to in any way, shape, or form. It's usual stuff. It goes away briefly because everyone's kind of just over that nonsense. But the other thing that people were complaining about was all the free stuff they're getting just for logging in. Like there's nothing people hate more and love to complain about more than getting shit for free. Like they hate it. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. So Rivals, they announced this previously, but they said as a thank you for their 1 year anniversary, they're going to be giving away legendary Jeff skin, Jeff the Business Shark. You actually ended up getting more than you even bargained for, because this is a fully customizable free legendary costume for Jeff. So you can change the glasses, you can change the tie, you can change the suit. It's very, very cute. Love it. But in addition to the free legendary Jeff costume, they're also giving you 2,500 units. They just straight up said, oh, you get up to 2,500 units just for participating in the anniversary event, which is great. That's a lot. 2,500 units. Put that in perspective, you can get that when they release new bundles of like 2 costumes, you can often get like 2020. Usually they'll bundle 2 new costumes together. Like for example, I think the Blade and the Sleepy Blade and Venom one are currently 2,200 units. Usually that's the rate for new legendary bundles, 22 to 2,500 units. So that's actually a lot of free units. This is a really good deal. But there's a catch, Jay.
You have to use them within 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, the first 1,500 units, they're temporary. You get them for logging into the game, so you have to actually log into the game, Jay, and claim the units. But
no one's ever done that before.
Yeah, it's insane. But not only do you have to actually log into the game to get this free currency, but you have 2 weeks to use it, because it's a temporary currency. You only have 2 weeks, and that time frame is going to run out. But here's where it gets even more diabolical. There's another 600 units you can get, but it requires you to have friends or somebody, or just be invited by someone who plays Marvel Rivals to their team. Ugh, disgusting. Interacting with human beings on Marvel Rivals. Well,
To be fair, the 600 unit one, the way they designed that is terrible.
It looks horrible.
Okay, it's way too confusing, but the point remains. Like,
I figured out immediately, but because
I figured it out. That's not the issue. It is
the UI
clunky.
The UI looks clunky, but but effectively, you're just going in and sending an invite to someone on your friends list, and then boom, you get free points that you can earn to use to unlock. So you get 600. I literally did it. I fired up a stream on Black Friday. I think it was Black Friday, or it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday, and within like I think 5 minutes, I had the entire thing almost, and I just finished it today. But I had all the points. I got all the points like immediately, and like within 5 minutes of putting the stream, I just because I had got invited by I had a bunch of invites, so I just accepted Eastwood's invite just so I could get on the team. And then I just invited whoever asked, and
it's good to accept Eastwood's invite because he has no friends.
Yeah, exactly. And then because I bought the mini battle pass, I also got access to the bonus one, so I didn't even have to invite people to get the points. Well, I just had to get one initial invite to get on the team, and then since I got the mini battle pass, all I had to do was log in and play the game. And I got enough points to get the 600 units. So that was
I saw somebody complain about the mini pass. Like, I just want to buy the Sue skin. Okay, so you would rather pay double the mini pass to buy the Sue skin than just get the mini pass and play the game a little bit. I've already finished the mini pass in like 2 days.
Yeah, I wasn't even really grinding it, and I got the Sue outfit. Obviously everyone got Reed early on, but I got Jeff. I got Sue.
I'm done with it. And like the thing is that like it took me longer because I was playing Annihilation. You actually get more points towards it if you play like the regular game modes.
Yeah,
the non-arcade. So
yeah, I was doing the same. Like, and I was still, I was mainly doing the arcade. I was doing the 18v18, and I still breezed right through it.
So speaking, I while you were, I know I'm kind of going backwards a little bit, but like I don't know, you wouldn't shut up.
Damn right.
Speaking about like the people that are complaining about the Gooner skins, what are they going to do when we get Savage Land Rogue? That's the real question.
They're going to cry on Twitter.
Also, appreciation for Big Barda here. So
shout out.
This skin is absolutely going to be a Marvel Rivals. Also, I think she's touching her boob.
The question though is what will we do if Savage Land Rogue is not her first costume? What if when they announce Rogue, when they show Rogue's costume the week after next, it's Rogue 2099 or some bullshit.
I mean, they're gonna get to that one because that one's gonna sell. Like that's like, oh, we need money, let's just put it out now. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not saying it's gonna be a day one thing. It should be, but like I'm not saying it has to be, but like
it has to be.
That is, I think that is like the most. It's crazy. I think that might be the most iconic and well-known look for Rogue anyway. You know, so like I do feel like we're gonna see that, especially with their track record. But like people that play Rogue and are like, oh, she sucks, are still gonna buy it. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, 100%. The Savage Land either has to be her first costume on the launch of season 4.5, or it has to be on the season 6 battle pass with Deadpool and
this is from Batman Deadpool, which came out last week. One of the alternate covers. They knew what to do. They knew the assignment right there.
They did.
Barda is not even like a super popular, like mainstream character. So most people probably look at that and like, oh, is that Wonder Woman? But they put Barda on the map too. Sheesh. So anyway, I had to interject that. I also want to talk about something that Ski said earlier that kind of ties into what we were just talking about. Dude, that has not come out of the plastic, by the way, for good reasons. So the other day when we were streaming, I was
in the pages.
Yeah, when we were playing Annihilation, I was like, we're figuring out like, oh, can you get points for Lord and can you get achievements? So when we figured out you could, I'm like, oh, let me try to get some of these achievements I've been putting off, because let me tell you, getting 4 kills with an ultimate is a lot easier in Annihilation
Yes,
than it is in a regular game. So I played a game as Squirrel Girl, and I started talking about how freaking easy mode this is, because this is like one of the very few times I've ever played Squirrel Girl, and I went 24-4 and got the achievement like second try, only because I died trying to throw it out the first time. And like I basically have asserted this is the most talentless character to play. And somebody who has been in my chat before, I recognize the name, you know, so if for someone that is like not always there, for me to recognize your name, you know, that says something, because I've seen you before. And they like were so offended, and they're like, actually Squirrel Girl is much harder to play than most characters. I'm like, no, objectively that is a lie.
Not true at all.
You literally can just chuck the nuts down the hall and it's going to bounce around and hit people. Like, there is no world. And I just was refusing to accept it. And the person, they push back a lot, but it made me think about how unfair it is sometimes, where you can find a creator that you love and you love their content, and then they say one thing that is mildly offensive to you, like Squirrel Girl sucks, and like that could potentially like ruin it. Like, oh, unsubscribed, I'm gone forever. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that, but like these are the same people that when you tweet something will be in your comments, like telling you you're wrong for believing what you do. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to the art of just agreeing to disagree?
Well, no, this is the rage bait generation. This is, and there's a lot of people just I think the issues that content creators, especially ones that have like notoriety, they get to see more of humanity than most people get to see.
Yeah.
And so you get to realize, oh, there are a lot of really stupid people out there. There are a lot of very, you know, sensitive and weird people, a lot of nice people as well. But yeah, you get to see kind of the whole line, and like and I get it. Jay's Marvel Rivals takes are usually incorrect, and that could be frustrating to some people, but yeah, in this case, Squirrel Girl is definitely a strong character, especially on certain maps, but by no means is she a difficult character to pick up. She is not technically demanding whatsoever. Obviously, to play her at a higher level against, like, you know, people who have a brain, and you obviously, it obviously takes some, you know, more technical knowledge and advanced knowledge of the game, but not technically demanding of the character. That's just like general knowledge, advanced hero shooter knowledge, like, you know, positioning, timing, stuff like that. Like all that comes into play on any character. But Squirrel Girl, the benefit of playing her is that you can have all those high level concepts nailed down and not have to worry about, you know, putting too much brain power into using the actual character, because you could just hold one button down and get a ton of value, as opposed to like Gambit, where you're like you have to manage all these different resources and cooldowns and different effects.
I've been having so much fun with Gambit.
He's great,
and I like him. I'm almost Lord. I think I'm like a little under. I think I'm around 700 away from Lord. So hopefully I'll be able to do that tomorrow. I Annihilation for me is like, I can never go away. It has to be permanent. And I've actually seen people bitching about, oh, the stats shouldn't count. I'm like, no, the stats counting is exactly why this game mode is going to survive, and why I'm like, it's a limited count. Okay. Like I max out, like Gambit, you have to get like, I think 120 kills and assists to get 50 points. And like, I'm maxing out that in like 7 games, because like I think my last game I had before I logged off, I was like 21-50, because like I can't get credit for kills anymore because I already maxed that out for today. So I'm just positioning myself to like aim my heals at people, and just, I'm like not even strategically using my cards. I'm just using them the second that I can so I can get credit for them before I die and respawn and do it again, because you have to use card trick 250 times for 50 points. Like, getting Lord to me is fun because it gives me something to like attain, and it's nice to have the extra little logo. It's nice to have the special kill, graphic. Like, that's cool, and it shows you've at least invested time in the character. I know it doesn't necessarily mean you're great at the character, but like I feel like I think Gambit might be one of the characters I play the best. I can definitely say it's the character where I've hit his ult I've gotten the most compliments for. So
to be
there's
fair,
that.
it's kind of hard not to get value on his ult. I think the only way to screw up his ult is if you don't hit enough of your teammates with it, because you have to because on the initial startup you have to like make sure you're facing them so that you get as many as possible.
It's tough to like screw it up if you have like Cole playing Groot and he just decides to throw up a Groot wall when you're in the middle of throwing off your card effect, and he blocks everybody from getting it. Thanks, Cole.
I was playing Annihilation, and I did ult with I think it was streaming this. I did an ult with a Gambit, and Jeff on my team tried. I don't know where the fuck he was aiming his ult, but he swallowed me while I had just popped my ult on Gambit, and he just sat there and before I could pop off, and held me there before spitting me out and like waited until the ult was over. And I was like, yeah, typical Jeff players.
Yeah. I think what I love about Annihilation is it's like you get these really cool moments that are it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
And I don't have to put any brain power into it. I don't care if I die. Like, I'm trying to stay alive, but I'm mostly just in there stat farming, I'm mostly in there just trying to like have fun and like do cool things, like some of the most low pressure streams I've had playing the game, like 0 J rage, like it's nice, it is like I do have to make sure I go back in and play a couple real games so that I'm not like losing my edge and like I'm playing the game the right way in those cases. But yeah, I think it's I love what they did with it. And if those stats didn't count, I would literally not touch it.
Same.
And that is going to be the danger in taking that away, because as fun as it is, if I'm not getting anything out of it, then I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there has to be some kind of reward structure. That was the cool thing about Marvel Zombies mode, which is actually ending this week. And shout
out to Creeper Boss, by the way, because he
carried you.
No, might have become JayShockblast, got me on the Blade leaderboard, and also got me my my Asgard nameplate.
It is. But yeah, that's a point. Like they added this mode. It's fun. You can play it solo as well, and it's PvE. But they also add a reward structure, so you can get these special titles. You can and you have the leaderboard. So for people who want to chase achievements, and that's the sort of thing that you'd have with these new game modes. Now, if only they could figure out what to do with Resource Rumble, because
I hate
a lot of people hate Resource Rumble.
Yeah, I don't talk in the creator Discord very often, but I happen to check in to look for I was looking for an answer to something. And by the way, whenever I do that, I don't just immediately ask the question. I look to see if anybody else has answered it first. But somebody in that exact moment in time had said something about, can we just get rid of Resource Rumble altogether? And I'm like, yes, cosign, sucks, hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whenever it comes up, and if I hop, that's why I hate it if I pop into quick play, if I see Resource, I was like, oh,
we actually did something where we were playing the other night, and it went to Resource Rumble, and I said, everybody back out. Let's just risk it. Every single one, all 6 of us backed out.
It's the idea isn't horrible, but the map is just,
the gameplay sucks. I hate it.
I just don't. Honestly, I'd rather they have put those resources into more PvE rather than bringing back Ultron Battle Matrix. I feel like Resource Rumble was just a waste.
I think they've had some huge wins. I really feel like we should be considering this for Game of the Year and not like continued support, because I feel like games that come out in December are just unfairly treated, because by the time Game of the Year runs next year, they're just forgotten. And it's like, well, technically it came out in 2024, but also technically we didn't really consider it because it came out in December. So, like I actually randomly saw a Tim the Tatman rant.
I saw that too right before I got on.
Yeah, and he's like, why is everybody acting like they're above this? Like this game carried us through the first half of the year.
Yeah, and people are obviously making pointing holes at the fact that he said there were basically no good games out during this time, which is obviously not true. There were tons of great games that were out in the last year. It's not like there was just a wasteland of just nothing but bad games that rival Saber fun. But if you're someone who mainly plays, for example, multiplayer, shooters like Tim does for his content creation, I could see having a similar sentiment, because Rivals did make and it's really, I don't know the full context of their end. Maybe he was talking about content creators or whatever, but yeah, I do think Rivals definitely deserves its flowers for what it contributed, not just to the hero shooter genre, which it definitely had a positive impact. Obviously, they always call it an Overwatch clone, but it's undeniable that the influence of our Rivals definitely made Overwatch 2 a better game, and also has had, we've seen a positive impact on Marvel. Marvel is now kind of embracing the Rivals effect. I mean, before you would thought the idea of Marvel Comics releasing a swimsuit special would be outrageous, just never happening in the current age of Marvel.
Right.
But now they just went for it because they saw how popular it was with Rivals and how people love their character designs. And for I could say, as someone who covers superhero games, Rivals has definitely been amazing and carrying, especially with games getting canceled and delayed, and like having a game that this is basically what Avengers should have been. Just an ongoing game that we could keep coming back to every week with more content. And I'm glad that we found, after Gotham Knights, Avengers, and Suicide Squad all failed at doing that, I was very relieved that Rivals actually managed to make it and not only stick, but continue to thrive. Like I saw that when the 18v18 came out, they saw another big spike in players. They had well over 100,000 concurrents just on Steam and they didn't have no new mid-season update, just people coming for the anniversary and the new game mode.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have anything I can add to that.
I think people should respect our Rivals and appreciate it, and it's only going to get better. I mean, they said obviously we know Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone are coming to the game next, but they promised they're going to be investing more in PvE content. So for next year. So I'm very excited to see what they cook up with that, because I as soon as they first announced it, I knew that we won. Like this is the way. I already saw the potential. I was just thinking of all the possibilities they could be doing with the PvE content. We know, and now they have the Times Square map now. Like I just know that we're going to get some amazing shit for PvE content next year. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm very anxiously awaiting Deadpool.
I do agree about the rank thing. I love that they finally added the placement system, and it is better than what they had before. But they definitely do for season 5. I mean, for season 6, they need to. I think they need to rework the system a little bit so that it mainly advances people based on performance rather than just straight wins. Because if it's just looking at wins, then it's kind of easy for people to still be boosted and get there and get up there. And I feel like if their goal was better quality control in ranks, I think they should have put a more emphasis on individual performance for placement, which is how placements work on other games. It mainly weighs how you play individually, so that it can make up for the fact that you may have been given a terrible team. But if it can still recognize that you weren't the problem on that team, I think that's what it should recognize and reward people, rather than promoting someone who played like ass, but if the rest of the team did well, then they get to advance. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy the ranked in general. I don't know. It's fine. Like I'm glad the people that play ranked are getting what they want out of it, but
no, they're not. That's why we always see.
Maybe I misunderstood.
We see these complaints especially now, like every time, like I'll pop in because I do watch a lot of high ranked streams, and I've seen, and I was curious how the top 100 players and top 500 would feel about the new placement system. And because they had a lot of complaints previously about how the rank system, how they have all these bad players in their games, and how they want the placements to come through so that they can get people in their ranks that deserve to be there, and instead of the system where it kind of just rewards you for playing long enough. And I'm seeing them still complaining, saying, hey, yeah, rank's still ass, and they keep getting bad players in their games, and they think in some ways placements can have made it worse, and they weren't implemented properly. So yeah, rank, even for the people who sweat rank all day, they're still not having a good time. So meanwhile, everyone else is seem to be fortunately enjoying the arcade 18v18 and doing that. So yeah, I think the more good modes they add, the better. Because honestly, if we get if we get good permanent PvE content, good replayable permanent PvE content, and they add more of it, monthly, and we also get the Ultron Battle Matrix mode back, I'm probably never touching ranks except to
get your free skin.
I'm getting my skin, and I'm doing my placements. I'm getting my skin, and I'm getting the fuck out.
Welcome to my life.
I honestly, unless they really improve the experience, I'm just not gonna bother, especially if we have other options. Because when they had Ultron Battle Matrix, I legitimately didn't touch any other aspect of the game. Like, I just played Ultron Battle Matrix. That's all I played. And when Zombies mode first hit, that's all I was playing. I will gladly just not touch that side of the game until the season reset, so I could get my gold skins and be on my way.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just not fun for me. Yeah, well, I look forward to the seasonal carries of Greek and with Jay and Eastwood.
I feel like I contribute.
You contribute to me wanting to punch a hole in the wall sometimes. So I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You make me feel that way too.
yeah, for different reasons. Very different reasons. There were a couple times where there were literally a couple, because usually I'm just like, whatever, it's just fun. We'll just get through it. But there are definitely a couple times where Jay made me want to throw something across the room.
I agree.
There was one particular instance that really fucking annoyed the shit out of you. You were on Rocket, and you basically just threw your ult away, like for no reason. You just use your ult to nobody, and right before we were about to have like the final team fight of that round, and I'm like, why are you using your ult? and instead of being like, oh, it was like, oops, I fucked up. You tried to justify it. I was like, oh no, it's fine. It's just an ult. We're okay. And I'm fine. And like it was.
Yeah,
I'm just
I was probably right though.
No, you were completely wrong. You were objectively wrong. Like obviously it was a bad ult. You even admitted later it was a terrible ult. I mean, you literally ulted nothing. There was no one on the point, and so obviously objectively it was a bad ult. But we actually almost lost the team fight because we didn't have that extra support ult. So the point was that if you make a bad play in rivals, you're supposed to say, oh, that's my bad. That's my bad.
That sounds kind of subjective.
I'll try to fix it. And then obviously he's trying to rage bait now, but the point at the time was that Jay will sometimes make very bad plays and he'll like argue with like me or Greek about it, like from thinking that he's correct when obviously everyone knows he's wrong, and even he at points will know he's wrong, but because he's stubborn, he'll want to keep arguing it because he doesn't just want to admit that he doesn't know that he's just wrong in this particular instance. And so that can be very annoying, especially when you're in rank where it's already can be really irritating because you're playing with randoms, so you're going to get randoms who are also they're going to be completely annoying, or
it happens much less often than he makes it seem.
You think it's support? Okay, yeah, it doesn't happen egregiously. Obviously, Jay makes potato plays, but it's not super often where he just makes completely horrible plays and then argues about it. Like usually, I
generally, if I make a bad play, I'm usually my worst critic, which is really hard to do when you're there.
but there will be times the times when he'll usually push back are like the more advanced cases where you would have to have a little bit higher knowledge of the game to understand why that was a bad play, and he won't maybe in the moment not understand why it was a bad play, and he'll just push back against it reflexively.
I probably push back because you word it like that and try to make me sound stupid.
No, I would say, that was a bad play. We shouldn't have done that. And then you'd be like, and it's like, well, no, like it's not. It was a bad play. We're just telling you, like, we'll literally just say, oh, don't do that. We'll make sure we don't do that again. And you'll push back against it. And it's just like, no, it's just like yeah, sometimes there is a right way to make a play. There's a time to do something, and sometimes you'll get it wrong, and it's understandable. There's a lot to the game. It's
and that is why I now ask for permission to ult.
Yeah, which you shouldn't have to, but it is good. But it's in general good to communicate. Like in particular, like if we were in like an actual sweaty, organized pro team, supports communicate their ults all the time, because the one thing you don't want to do as a support is ult at the same time, because if you're playing against a good team, if two supports use their support ults at the same time, it's an automatic loss. They just automatically lose the fight. That's just the end of it. And that's why communication, particularly if you're playing support, is extremely important. So it can be actually good, to say, hey, I'm gonna ult first, or you ult first, in right before a fight. So in that particular case, it can be good to not just ask permission to the tank or whatever the best player is, but just to ask your other support, hey, I see you have your ult too. Let's make sure we don't overlap our ults and fuck this up. So let's communicate.
That is a whole ass conversation.
That is. Jay usually also 6 out of 7.
Ski is like the stereotypical child doing the 6-7 nonstop. So
Jay always ults with the utmost respect.
That the utmost respect, you have to have the utmost respect, respectfully.
Yeah, if I see the enemy team double support alt, I'm like, I'm rubbing my hands together like Birdman because I'm like, oh, that's a free win. That literally is, because it literally is a free win. Like that's why people get so mad, because unfortunately part of the design of Rivals is that they made support alts too strong. Honestly, a lot of them. So whoever uses it right can like win or lose the entire fight for their team, depending on how it's done. Like that's just unfortunately how the game is played, because offensive alts are so strong. Like if you don't have anything in place, then yeah, you're just fucked. Like there's so much damage in the game too. So it's unfortunate though. It does require a lot of some thinking and communication, but you know, and that part can be why ranked in particular can be so frustrating, because yeah, when you might be paired with some people who who don't even know what their buttons do, and you stick to most work. Like I was literally playing a game earlier. I wanted to rank up on another account, and I started on DPS, and we had someone playing Rocket who was so bad. I was like, please get off Rocket. I will heal. Please stop playing support. Like he literally died like 5 times in like 2 minutes on Rocket. No exaggeration. Like he was like 1 in 5 on Rocket. I'm like, please get off this fucking character. So I got off Jeff, and of course we immediately steamrolled him from there. But it was just like, it just amazes me how like people will automatically say, oh, if you're playing bad, just play support. But I actually don't agree with that, because support, the instinct is to stick somebody on support if they're not performing well on like DPS or whatever. But I think support doesn't get enough credit for how important it is as a role, and how locked in you kind of have to be. So I actually do not want to stick a player who's playing badly on support, because then they're in charge of now they're on the most important role on the team besides maybe tank, and I don't want them on there fucking it up, like, because there's some people who can't play Rocket, which is crazy to me, because Rocket, I feel like you could play I literally have games where I play Rocket while just watching a podcast. and I'm literally getting dove, like I'm dodging Spider-Man and shit, and I'm just like, just holding heal, running up the wall, just checking emails, and I'm just like, it's like, yeah, that's just Rocket. And this is after they nerfed his dash. Like, imagine if they gave him his dashes back. Like, Rocket's kind of insane, but yeah, there are some people who managed to even make that look hard, which is amazing to me. This is a crazy community. Can you please get a sec? I mean, that's asking for too much. That's asking for too much. Yeah, it could be hard enough. Maybe if Rogue is a tank, I don't know. I think it's going to be a double strategist season. I think that's where they're setting up here. I think both Rogue and Gambit, and yeah, not obviously there are people who we only talk about leaks, but because no one knew Gambit was going to be a support until the devs said something. But based on the trailer, actually, I think Rogue is going to be a support, because if you look closely, you probably missed it. At the end, when she's posing with Gambit, her fist actually glows green, like a healing green. And I think that was a sign that she's going to have healing based power alongside Gambit. I think they're both going to be strategists.
She looks like a muscle mommy though, so I don't know.
I mean, she's always going to look like a muscle. She's Rogue, but I think like how Gambit is a hybrid strategist and duelist. I think she's going to be like a hybrid Vanguard and strategist. I think that's how they're going to, because of how her powers work, where she can have multiple powers from different mutants because
Right.
she absorbs. I think they're going to work that into her kit so that she has a variety of different abilities that she can tap into, and one of those is going to be like maybe like a healing mode or something like that. But I do think she's going to be officially listed as a strategist, but she'll be played in like different scenario, in different ways, similar to game. I think that's what they're cooking here.
We shall see.
300 HP. I can see I can see maybe she's like a 350 HP support. Yeah, I think maybe they make her a 350 support. She has heal. I think she'll have healing and damage reduction in her kit. I think she'll be able to fly. But and I also think she'll have like some kind of extra movement skill as well, like for damage, similar like how Gambit has his spinning dash attack. I think she'll have maybe a grab or something, some kind of CC, because that's kind of her thing. Yeah, I think her kid's going to be lit. I'm looking forward to seeing that gameplay trailer. Yeah,
same.
350, yeah, and we deserve it, because there's nothing more satisfying than beating up a Spider-Man who's diving me when I'm on Gambit or a Magic or something.
I will say the most satisfying thing to do in the game for me is getting a kill with his bow staff.
Oh, that's
like it's just so satisfying, and I feel like it's always against like a Daredevil that's charging me.
I love his combo he does. I usually do this when I pop his ult, and if I have I'll make sure I have a couple cards ready so I can go into DPS mode. And he has this combo that's so satisfying, where you pop your spade to go to DP to get your damage boost. Then you throw a stack of cards. Then you spin dash through them, activate your ability that wipes them away, that pushes them back, and then animation cancel, go into the anti-heal, and if you do the whole sequence right, he just like goes in, just like boom, 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 and everyone just explodes in like 2 seconds. It's so good. I love when you pull it off. It looks so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I would actually say he might be one of my like top favorite characters in the game.
I think he's the most fun character to play right now. I think they may have made him too good. I think because now it made me and a lot of people feel like so. Like it made us look at like the other characters, specifically the other strategists, and like, now why can't they be this fun? Like,
I still think like the safest character to play as a strategist is still Cloak and Dagger, and Invisible Woman, and maybe Rocket. There are times where I feel like I should be healing more that I'm just not. But I feel like if I was one of those characters, I would be. But like other than that, like he's in that discussion.
I feel
just have to have a little bit more.
I feel like for me it's Sue. Like Sue, especially after the changes, she's so good now. I love her. But I feel like I like Gambit because he's the one strategist that feels like you always have an option. Mm-hmm. Like others, you feel like there's like a limitation. Like Invisible Woman, as great as she is, the one area you feel like where things are like kind of off are when like she's either dove or the range thing, like because she has limited range, so that starts becoming an issue. And also you realize that she has kind of relatively limited ability to defend herself. Like she has her vortex and her push/pull, and she can jump away, but things get spooky. That's why I'm glad that they finally gave her the ability to shield herself. But like Adam, for example, is like, yeah, it gets bad, like because he has no movement whatsoever.
Yeah,
and he's cooldown dependent on his abilities.
And that's like Adam is one of those characters that along with like Black Widow and Hawkeye, that like when we're really pressed, I'm like, you got to play a safer character. To me, I know that those other characters are talented or are good if you are hitting your shots, but like I feel like there's too much concentration required to play those characters. And like if you're pressed, you got to be, even if you're like getting kills, that doesn't necessarily mean you're always helping as much. Those are the type of
That's where I
characters
disagree. I think if you're getting limbs, you're always contributing. But I think it's particular Hawkeye. If you have this season, I love seeing Hawkeye. If you have a Cloak and Dagger on your team, because they turned his sword slash into both like the Cloak and Dagger Terror Cape as well as a healing wave. Like it's kind of nuts. Like it, instead of just pushing you back, it now travels like all the way across the map, and it puts vulnerability on the enemy team, so they take more damage, and it heals any of your team that it passes through. So and they buffed his damage. So
it's a time and place thing though. Like I feel like if you are in whatever the mode is where you escort the cart, it's a little bit better in that. But like in domination, sometimes where like you most of those players are not contributing towards capturing a point. I just feel like sometimes
I think
the best choice.
I think the only time I don't want to see Hawkeye or Widow is if you're not hitting your shots. Like if you're not hitting your shots and you're just not getting a limbs at all, like I just get off the fucking character, because they do require more concentration to hit those shots because they have slower fire rates. So
right. But and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're pressed and you're in a like we got to get this done moment, like everybody's like, oh, somebody switched to Doctor Strange because we need a portal. They should all. Another thing is, hey, get on get on Squirrel Girl instead. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like get on a brainless character so that we can just get this win. You know what I mean? And I feel like those characters. I know that we play with some good people that can play those characters great. And I just feel like, though, in the moment when you need something quick, that's one of those characters you got to be willing to switch off of. You know what I mean?
I think it depends on what that moment calls for. Like, I think, like, for like, I wouldn't ask for someone to switch to Squirrel Girl for like overtime play, for example, for like Doctor Strange, because I don't think that's necessarily where it
was just a quick example. I'm not necessarily advocating it. I'm just saying.
But when I usually only call for like a character switch if somebody is either playing poorly or just they just don't know what they're doing, or they're just playing badly, or they're being countered by something on the other enemy team, and they're just not able to have as much impact. Like if you're on Black Widow and they have like Groot and Mag, and you're Strange, or you're not really hitting anything because they're on defense and they're hiding well, and you're not getting any picks, and we're not able to like push through the front line, then I'm like, okay, how about you just swap the Squirrel Girl so you can just destroy these Groot walls, or Punisher and destroy these Groot walls if you're not contributing. But if I see someone on Black Widow and they lead the team in eliminations, I'm not going to say shit to them because they're doing their job. I'm going to say shit to the DPS who's not doing their job and not getting any limbs or anyone like that.
My thing is more like, all right, we're under a minute. Like, just get on a character that you don't have to like rely on like the perfect shot. You know what I mean? Like that's my issue when I start to, when we're at the end. We gotta lock in and just get the win. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I like Spider and Vodka, great players. They like to play those type of characters. Even, Liam, like, will play like. I understand Winter Soldier is like a high tier character, but
God
like
tier
I
character.
right, if you can play him right, and I know that he can, and I know that they can, but like it's also still a precision character sometimes, where you have to like have a little bit of a brain to play them, and sometimes I don't think I've ever pushed back on them. I hate Black Widow, so that's a little different. But lately, I have not been pushing back. But I've established a rule of you can have your fuck around characters, which is what I consider them, and you can play them until it gets serious and we're about to lose. Then I need you to lock in with somebody that is like a guarantee. You know what I mean?
I think it literally just comes out of performance space. Like I think because it doesn't at the end of the day it doesn't. I think the genius of the rival design is that they've made it so that every hero can carry a game, and it literally just depends on. It can be map dependent, but it's largely skill dependent. Like there are plenty of people who are on broken brainless characters, like whether it's Cloak and Dagger, auto aim, or Wanda or Squirrel Girl, who are absolute dog shit and don't do anything.
Sure,
they contribute absolutely nothing. So that's why my general policy is I'm not going to ask you to switch because I don't think that's helpful unless you're either A, not performing well, or B, just because you're bad with the character, or you're playing okay, but now you're getting no value because the other team swapped to counter what you're doing. But if you are performing well, even if I don't necessarily love the character, and I'm more different because I've seen like what pretty much every character on the roster can do, but like I do recognize like some are harder to get value on than others. But if you're getting value, if you're actually getting value, and I could tell if you're actually getting value on that character, I don't care if that character is high on the tier list or not. If you're getting value on them, I'm not going to tell you to swap, because in this game, you don't tell people to swap who are getting value. You tell people who are not getting value to swap. So even if I don't like your character, it doesn't matter because you're getting value. As soon as you stop, that's when you need to swap. So,
but I don't see value when we can't take the point. You know what I mean? That's my issue, is like we get to points where we need a character that can handle the point, and I just don't feel like Black Widow.
And that's why I think there's a big issue in the community in general, especially when it comes to like a character like Widow, because I see this like kind of all the time. Like there's actually a popular YouTuber who only plays Black Widow, or who mainly plays Black Widow, and they just kind of have these gameplay compilations where they pick Black Widow, and immediately their team tells them swap, go end your life, stuff like that all the time. Mm-hmm. And then they proceed to like pop off and go crazy. And even while they're popping off and go crazy, they're getting flamed by their team sometimes. So I think the one mentality I do want to push back and fight against is the idea that just because things aren't going well with the team, you immediately default and blame the character that you don't like, because that's just not how the game works. If someone's on Black Widow and they're getting value, like they're actually doing well that game and that round, but you're, for example, not capturing the point, that's not a Widow. That's not necessarily a Widow issue. Like if you're not taking space, which is what capturing the point typically entails, that means, okay, your tanks aren't taking space, or your other DPS maybe aren't putting enough pressure on. Maybe it's just a Widow. And in those cases, I'd be like, okay, the tanks need to do a better job of taking space. The other DPS needs to do a better job getting picks, or the supports need to do a better job of keeping everyone topped up, so they don't have to keep walking back, retreating in order to recover HP. I will look at other factors that could be contributing before saying, oh, well, I don't like this character. I don't think this character is high tier, so I'm just going to blame them and tell them to swap, even though they're not playing badly at all. It's just maybe other people on the team aren't pulling their weight or are struggling in this particular instance. that's where I would direct my focus rather than just saying, well, I don't like your character, so I'm just going to assume it's your fault. Like, I don't think that's fair.
Well, yeah. Counterpoint though is if they've got 6 people on point and we have one that's all the way in the back trying to get pot shots, it's there is some nuance to it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I agree with you. It shouldn't just be a blanket that's thrown on it and saying that, you know, oh, you're Black Widow, you're obviously ruining this. But like, you know, sometimes, you know, when you're looking at Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, and I don't know, even just say Hulk, you know, like it's kind of tough to take the point when you are like one person in the back. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's not your job to take the point by yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like,
right. And Black Widow is not going to contribute to that.
She is though. Like
on the point,
Black Widow. But Black Widow. First of all, why is if everyone's on a point, that's usually pretty shitty positioning. But that aside, Black Widow can do a ton of damage on characters like Mr. Fantastic and Hulk. Especially Hulk, like Black Widow. That's a funny thing. Black Widow
it's just a random character I pick. I'm not like trying to
like. No, that's the thing. That's the funny thing. Black Widow in particular. Black Widow actually can shit on a character not just from range but from up close because she has a pretty broken melee combo where she uses the hook and double stun and can absolutely just destroy you from close range as well. So actually, Black Widow has more versatility than people think, and she also got the team up this season, so she can actually heal now if you have a Phoenix or your team. So that's why I say I will always look at what the person is doing rather than blaming them, because if you're not taking the point, it's not because of one DPS character, especially one DPS character that's maybe actually doing well. It's the rest of your team. Like your tanks are getting diffed. Your other DPS may be getting diffed. Your supports may be dying too much. Like that happens a lot. Supports, like if your support is constantly, one support is constantly dying, then you're only healing with one person, or you know, stuff like. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in a team fight, and I just don't think it makes sense to blame one particular character because it's very rare when there's one character that's the cause of an entire team losing a fight, unless that person is just dying. Like if they're not dying and they're actually getting eliminations, like that's where I'll push back, because I've literally seen instances where I'm watching a game and a person is getting kills. They're actually playing pretty decently, and you tell them to swap, and they're saying, and they're confused, like, why are you telling me to swap? Like I'll look at their I'll be watching them play. I'll see them getting value, getting picks, and then I'll see their KDA is good, and then you're telling them to swap, and then I'll look at the other DPS, and they're like the other DPS is like 4-12, and they're like 14-1, and you're telling them to swap. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would they swap? like why not the other DPS? Why not and then the tank is like 10-10. I'm like, and then one of the supports has like 8 deaths. I'm like, why are you telling the 14-1 DPS to swap? Like, what are we talking about? That's the only thing I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's the only issue I'm talking about. Like as long as you're not playing bad, I don't care what character you're using. Like just don't play that character poorly. Like pick who you want if you can get value on them. But as soon as you stop getting value on them, time to get off the character. But I'm not going to blame you for the entire team fight if it's not going well, because especially when I can see you're like, it's not a problem. Like I would never say the words, oh, your eliminations aren't mattering. Like all eliminations matter. Eliminations are extremely important in rivals. Just one, because this is my perspective, because I watch because I played in some of the higher lobbies. I watch a lot of people who play like pro celestial lobbies and everything like that. So I know how valuable one elimination is, because I feel it in games where I'm playing against like people who are actually like super sweaty. Like even just a 5v6 is can be like an automatic loss if you're playing against a really good team. So I understand how valuable just one elimination is. That's what they always tell you. Like if you're like, there's some players who save their ults because they're trying to get like 5 picks at the same time. and higher level players will just tell you, no, just if you could get one or two, that can actually swing an entire fight, because it can, like, one elimination, especially if it's on someone important like a tank or a healer, that can win you the entire fight. Like, they're so important. So I would never tell someone who's getting eliminations that their eliminations don't matter, because they do. Like, they're very important. Like, if someone gets 2 picks and you lose the team fight, that's not their fault. That's the team's fault, because 2 picks is huge. If they kill 2 people and you lose the team fight, the rest of the team needs to look at what they did wrong, because that person who got those 2 or 3 picks did nothing wrong. Like, they did their job, especially if they're on DPS.
Sure.
Sometimes solo ulting thing. It depends on the all. like for example, I'd say Psylocke before the buff she got, solo ult valid, because the weakness of Psylocke was that because of the way her ult worked, the more people in the ult, the worse it did. So you actually did want to solo ult people with Psylocke, because if you had like too many, because actually the strategy to beat Psylocke's ult used to be, just bunch up, everyone just run into the Psylocke ult and stand there and watch it do no damage. Now after the buff, you run away now. but before it was like, that all is ass. Like, just stand in it. Now, but so that's why Psylocke would be just would solo ult you all the time. But if you're a mag ult, unless you only want to solo ult the healer who's using your ult. Like, you solo ult that Luna, solo ult that Cloak and Dagger. But other ults you might want to be a little safer. That's all. But I do understand. Yes, currently Psylocke is pretty brainless. But we're at past the 2 hour mark. Look, and I'm excited to wake up relatively early tomorrow, because I want to stream some Cosmic Invasion, which
free on Game Pass, by the way.
Free on Game Pass, which I do not have, but I think I might be able to secure a code from somewhere tomorrow morning. I'll check my email for the notification, but I'm looking forward. I know Travis would not shut the fuck up about this game, and
especially when he has privileges of, like, I don't know, seeing content creators that may or may not have been playing it, and just publicly asking, please, can I just, like, not related to any in particular game, but like, if you have access to a content creator, okay, and you see them playing a game that you can't play, maybe just understand that they're probably not allowed to talk about it. So just leave them alone. When you can know, you'll know.
Yeah. For those that don't, like, if you follow someone on like PlayStation or whatever, you can see what games they're playing. Like, typically, like some companies will say, like, try to restrict, what your history, so people can't see what you're playing. But content creators a lot of times will get games early, and they won't be allowed to talk about that game until the embargo lifts. So if they have the game, then and they're not publicly talking about their experience with it, is because they're under NDA and or embargo. So be understanding and leave them alone. I mean, it should be obvious. But
we all did.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you go on the Aftershow podcast and somebody's like, "Hey, I saw you were playing X game. How is it?"
Yeah. At this point, understand that content creators, if they're not talking about a game that's not out yet that they have, they're obviously not allowed to. So be understanding of that. Don't try to get them in trouble by having them break.
Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to, like, go in stealth mode. You know what I mean? I feel like you're only friends with me on Xbox or PlayStation, or are in my Discord because you know who I am and what I do. So the amount of times people have messaged me over the years, like, how are you playing that? Drives me fucking crazy.
It's always weird. Like, I feel like we're in the big 2-5. You would think people understand by now that if you see a content creator playing a game early, it's because they got sent the game early because they're a content creator. But it's still a mystery to some people.
It's one of the biggest reasons I just stopped reading my messages altogether. Like, I literally do not. If you send me a message on Xbox or PlayStation, I will never see it.
Eastwood, I can't talk about Avengers 2. My full review will be out when the embargo lifts in 2029. We'll appreciate everyone. Next week, hopefully Jay will have finished Stranger Things season 5 by then, and we'll also give our full review of Cosmic Invasion. I'm also got accepted into the Tokon Fighting Souls closed beta this time around.
Nice.
So I'll get to play that a little bit.
I don't know yet. I kind of want to just be out on Destiny, because every time I go back, I enjoy it for a little bit, but like nobody cares. Yeah, and it's not necessarily that nobody cares; it's just YouTube doesn't care to let anybody know. But I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to get into Destiny now because like you just feel so lost. But this does feel like it's right up my alley. So we'll see. There is a Fallout 76 DLC coming out, and I got to go to New York City to play it early, so I kind of want to support that too. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think next week I'm just planning on playing Cosmic Invasion, doing my usual Marvel Rivals news update, then the closed beta for Tokon Fighting Souls, and I want to catch up on some games. I want to finish Yote and some of the stuff in my backlog before the Game Awards, because I know the week after next is going to be crazy with the Game Awards and Marvel Rivals season 4.5.
Oh, I know something that's happening at the Game Awards, and I can't wait.
Indeed, there's going to be a lot happening at the Game Awards that I'm looking forward to. In particular, I'll have a video about that as well. I'm working on. So appreciate everyone hanging out. Catch y'all next week. I'm Sadot the Gamer.
I am not Casual Avenger,
but we appreciate him stopping by earlier on. Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.